Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's rainy afternoon, Monday, late Monday, rainy. Been some nice bits today though. Proverbs chapter 5 and the last verse in chapter 5, 23, he says this. He says, "He will die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his folly, he will go astray." So, he will die for lack of instruction. Solomon is talking about the foolish fellow who walks in the way of wrong. And the foolish fellow who walks in the way of wrong will make obvious mistakes. And these obvious mistakes will lead to his downfall. And isn't that true? That people who will not learn from their mistakes eventually end up in a kind of pit. And that sense of not learning from our mistakes is what makes the foolish fellow a fool. There is a sense in which people who won't learn are just filled with a sense of pride because they refuse to take on board any further instruction. And so this is what happens to the foolish one. He will die for lack of instruction. And lack of instruction is to be without a desire to take on board insight, information regarding the mistake that's been made. So I said on Sunday, if you walk down a bad road, you're going to bump into bad people and you're going to make some really bad mistakes. But if you walk down a good road, you're going to bump into good people and you're going to make some really good friends, because bad always begets bad and good begets good. Now that doesn't mean to say that sometimes things don't go wrong or things that are right are good. It means that if you willfully choose to walk the wrong way, I can almost guarantee you that you will stumble. Even as if you walk the good way, it might not always be good for you, but you will have more good going on in your life than bad. I have never had the mortgage company knock at my door and say to me, "Move," because I've always paid my mortgage. So I prioritise the reality of that need and demand. And that kind of level of decision making is what Solomon is talking about. So if you want to live right and enjoy a good life, then you need to do it God's good way. Otherwise, you too will die for lack of instruction. And in the greatness of his folly, he will go astray. The greatness of his folly. What can be great about folly? Nothing, in one sense, except the excessiveness of doing it again and again and again and again. We don't need to do it again and again. We need to learn from the mistakes that we make and then move on into a life of better than what we did before. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Stay dry, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow.